किया दुश्मनों से बदला लिया जो भी किया हमने किया शान से शान से
Wow! That was melodious as well as energizing, wasn't it? So let's give Shruti a big round of applause. Thank you, Shruti. Please stay. Please stay. Hemu, may I please request you to come up on stage and felicitate Shruti Bhave with a bouquet. May I also ask Vijay Dalwani and Avdut Rege to please come up. And request Hemu to felicitate them with a bouquet and a Gadlawala hamper. Let's give them a big hand, guys, for the fantastic performances we've seen today.
Let's hear it for them, guys. Amazing performance. Thank you so much for the lovely performance, guys. Now, before we proceed further, a little interesting piece of information. So, by now we all know that BNI as an organization is proven to generate business for people. We all have made and earned a lot of business from BNI, but today I have earned something more than business. I have possibly earned a date with a pretty lady. Can we have the camera zoom in here, please? We have found a nice earring, possibly studded with diamonds. So whoever this belongs to, my lady, please come and see me backstage. And of course, you know what the price to pay is. So I'm looking forward to this dinner date. So make sure that you come and collect this from me, whoever it belongs to. Now, of course, you have to get the other one to prove it belongs to you. Moving on further. So after that melodious performance from Shruti, I would now like to invite our next keynote speaker, Mr. B.S. Nagesh, to kindly come up and speak a few words. Can we have Mr. B.S. Nagesh up on the stage, please?
Check, check. Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
That's really nice.
Mr. Nagesh, I'm sorry to be interrupting. Can I just quickly read out a little intro about you?
I thought I'll do it myself. That's okay. Please
No,
go ahead.
I have trained myself to do that, and your organization is also trained. So I'm sorry, but I would do that. So Mr. B.S. Nagesh is the founder of a public charitable trust, TRAIN, which is abbreviated for Trust for Retailers and Retail Associates of India, and a not-for-profit company called TRAIN Foundation. TRAIN has a vision of empowering people in retail with a mission of upgrading lives of people in retail, both at work and home. TRAIN has successfully conceptualized and implemented 2 global events, Retail Employees Day celebration on 12th of December and TRAIN Retail Awards for Customer Service Excellence. In the last 5 years, it has created livelihood for more than 8,500 disabled youth and skilled more than 20,000 youth in retail. He has been involved with Shoppers Stop and its group company since its inception in 1991 as the first employee. He stepped out of the day-to-day roles of the business as MD in 2009. He is currently the chairman and non-executive director of Shoppers Stop Limited. Mr. Nagesh has been recognized as an iconic retailer and was inducted into the World Retail Hall of Fame 2008 at the World Retail Congress conducted in Barcelona. With his induction in the World Retail Hall of Fame 2008, Mr. Nagesh is the only Indian retailer and the first Asian retailer to take a significant place alongside more than 100 stalwarts of the global retail industry. Mr. Nagesh is the founder chairman of Retail Association of India. He is on the board of IGDS, a global association of departmental stores, and the vice president for Asia for IGDS. He is also on board the Marico Limited and Kaya Limited. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Very good afternoon. Woo! Very good afternoon. That's better. How was the desert? How was the Mishti Dohi? People who had Mishti Dohi, raise your hands. Wow. There were only 3 people who had Mishti Dahi, but there was no Mishti Dahi. Thank you very much. I thought at least you are awake. Can I have the lights on for the hall, please? Thank you, BNI, for inviting me to be part of this event. And it's a pleasure to be here and talking about my journey. There's a lot of light on my... Can you bring down this light, please, for me? I can see the audience, and put the hall light on, full light on. Yeah, so I was one of those lucky individuals who got a chance to be a little mad. In Hindi, for those of you who say, thoda pagalpan. So I was a little pagal. I used to talk to my boss in 1990s to say, I wish somebody in the country opens a 50,000 square feet store. I want to be the first shop manager of this store. And that was my dream, to run a 50,000 square feet store. Honestly, I never knew what a 50,000 square feet is because the house I lived in was 1,000 square feet. But we saw it 50 times bigger. That's what I want to be. It so happened that my boss spoke to Mr. Raheja for some reason, and he said, you know, I have a property in Andheri which is 50,000 square feet, and I want to see if somebody can actually run that into a department store or some other commercial enterprise. That's the way I got into this business of now called Shoppers Stop, but when I joined, there was no Shoppers Stop. So very lucky as an individual, as a professional, to have got a chance to start a business on behalf of a private family. Very few retailers in the world get this chance because it's always a family starting a business and then you get a professional to run it. Here was a professional who was given a chance. So people ask me, what was your experience? What do you do? What is the background? My biggest experience was my ignorance. And actually, I tell everybody that if you are ignorant about what you're doing, it could be very, very valuable to you. Don't ask me how. You need to be a little pagal, and you need to be ignorant. Because when you're ignorant, you have the ability to say, I don't know. And when you have the ability to say, I don't know, you'll ask somebody to say, can you let me know? And that was the beginning of the journey for me, because it was extremely valuable. I had no clue. I had never run a large retail store, and that to a garment store. In fact, I didn't know what an apparel looks like at that point, other than what I used to wear as a shirt or a trouser or whatever. So it started off with a very small area, 280 square meters, 2,800 square feet. Today, many Mumbai homes are much bigger than that. And a very small team of about 12, 13 people. Bela Gupta, who's also one of your BNI members, was part of my startup team. In fact, she was the store manager of the first store that we started in Shoppers Stop. So it was a wonderful journey that we had through and through. So started with ignorance and started with that pagalpan. Now, I don't say that you should become mad, but I think madness comes when you dream big. And there's nothing wrong in dreaming big, because when you dream big, somebody else says, "Ye pagal hai, he's mad. How can you do this?" And I'll tell you stories as to how when you dream big, and you can actually be a little pagal, and that have the junoon. I don't know what is the English word for junoon, but you have the little junoon to push it, it makes a difference. So we started a store, 2,800 square feet in 1991. Just before we started, about a month back, we were struggling to get names. We didn't know what the name of the store would be. We asked our agency, we had some 1,000 names, and we couldn't select one. I called up Mr. Raheja and said, if I don't have a name by tonight, we can't open a store, because I require permissions, I require licenses, I require branding. Late night, I got a call from Mrs. Raheja. She said, Nagesh, what do you think about Shoppers Stop? I said, ma'am, what a wonderful name this is. We just picked the name. Next day, we went to the agency, said, what a name have you got? I mean, 2 words, tongue twister, Shoppers Stop, Stopper Stop. I mean, this is not a great name. But today, you have called me here to represent Shoppers Stop because it's become a big brand. So the next learning that I have is, it is not about the name that becomes a brand, but it is the brand that you make out of the name. And I think this is very important. Today, you look at it, how much of money has Chitle Bandhu spent in Pune? Hardly anything. Everybody knows Chitle Bandhu because they make the best bakarwadi. I mean, that is important. So you build a brand out of what you deliver to the customer, and the brand is the outcome of the relationship that you build with the customer. And that's the learning that we had. You build a great relationship, and that really works. And how do you build a relationship? I started with ignorance. So when we started off, till 13 of us, didn't have anything to boast about. We used to meet regularly our customers. I mean, half the time I and Raymond and Bela, we used to be standing outside the store and actually talking to our customers. In fact, our customers got really fed up. They said, Nagesh, every day you're talking to us, and every day you're asking questions, you don't do anything. So I felt a little guilty about it. I said, ma'am, why don't you give your name and number on a slip? We'll put it in a drawer and take a draw, and maybe I'll do a lucky dip and give you a 100-rupee gift voucher. So they started giving small slips, and every day we used to give gift vouchers of 100 bucks, and people used to come and actually want to collect 100 bucks. Today, if I put 100 bucks as a gift voucher in any store, you're going to have a huge problem on the social media. What's 100 bucks? But that's how the relationship started with the customers. And to go take a story a little further, and I'll come back. 3-4 years back, my secretary left the organization, and a new secretary joined, and she said, Mr. Nagesh, there's a huge carton lying in your room, which has got the small chits of papers and some names scribbled on it. What do I do with it? I had actually forgotten about it. I said, get the box. There were 40,000 small chits with name and address and telephone number written on the small pieces of paper. These are all the names that we used to collect, all of us together, and put it in the lucky dip draw. And I said, hey, these were my first customers. Why don't we start a club of our first customers? And we started a club called First Citizens Club, then put them into a small database. And today that First Citizens Club has 4.5 million consumers, and 77% of the business comes from known customers. Very few businesses have 77% of your business coming from known customers. So against the management institute would call me and say, can you talk about the strategy of direct marketing? I mean, I had no strategy of direct marketing. It was just my love for customers, and an ignorant guy wanted to learn from customers, so we interacted with customers and got our small chits of papers, which actually became the database. Going back, I was talking about the whole dream. Like I said, we were a bunch of ignorant people. We started with the men's store, and then we added up the women's store. And then every time, because of ignorance, if anybody came and said something, we would say, let's do it. And there we learned this whole thing of saying nothing is impossible. Actually, it worked with us very beautifully. So I was on the floor, Bella was looking after the store, and there was a customer who was standing, and I was near the tie section, and we had 250 ties on display, which was probably a fantastic tie display for the size of that store. And I heard this customer talking to the customer and saying, you know what, there's hardly any collection. So I overheard. I said, sir, what do you think should be the collection? 10,000 hona chahiye, about 10,000 ties. Wow, 10,000 ties. How can you have a 10,000 tie? I said, let me come back to you. They came back. All of us sat together and said, can we have a tie exhibition with 10,000 ties? But we don't have a place to put it. We said, we have a parking. I can convert the parking into a place, and we'll actually put 10,000 ties. Well, 12 months down the line, we had a tie festival, 10,000 ties put in the parking lot, and in 1 month, we sold 10,000 ties, which means we circulated 10,000 ties. It has never happened. But you know the pagalpan, the whole, this madness? Suddenly one person said, sir, but we are doing 10,000 ties. We are not going to get into the Guinness Book of World Record. So I said, how do you get into Guinness Book of World Record? He said, the longest tie is 231 feet. So let's make a 232 feet tie. I said, let's make it. We went, we got a tie made. The Zodiac had to use the whole roof of the building to make a 231 or 232 feet tie. We made the tie, and we were on Guinness Book of World Record. So wonderful. But after 2 years, some German boys beat us, but they made a mistake. They created a tie of 233 feet. And we were not willing to give up. So 95, we went back and make a tie of 238 or 240 feet, I don't remember. But for the last 20 years, we are on Guinness Book of World Record. So the question was, one customer asked me, are you mad? Shruti was playing that beautiful music. You always get up and dance so that you can have fun. In fact, there was a volunteer who was trying to nudge Hemu to come and dance. But he didn't come up. So I think you all missed that big dance party. So third was having fun. But when you have fun, you just don't have fun out of anything. You have fun out of celebration. And again, one of the learnings as I moved into the journey was, can you celebrate small wins? I'll tell you a story about the small wins that we used to celebrate and how it became an unaffordable big celebration. So Bella was the store manager, and I would tell Bella, our target is 1 lakh a day. And one day my security guy called up saying, sir, Bella is not closing the store. It's 11:30 in the night. So I said, Bella, what happened? Why are you not closing the store? He said, no, my target is 1 lakh. I've done 97,000. I'll not close the store. So it was 11:30 in the night. I had got up. My wife was saying, what the hell? What business have you got in? 11:30 you are getting calls. So I told Bella, please bill. My salary was 10,500. I said, Bella, bill 3,000 rupees. Let's close 1 lakh. We did that. She closed the day with 1 lakh. But that's the passion. That's the sense of saying not wanting to give up. And these are small, small things. Management business doesn't teach you all this because you can't put it in a structured way, in a process. And then, next day, the team said, we're a small team. They said, sir, how do we celebrate? I said, okay, let's get some ice cream from there. So we got some ice cream, some 20 or 30 ice creams. We had a lady called Geeta, and she said, sir, every time we achieve target, you will give us ice creams. I said, yes, I'll get to open the second store. So Mr. Nagesh was doing